republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order at 5:04. We do have a couple of action items tonight. Majority of the meeting is going to be to discuss the budget revote, what happened to the revote, and our path forward will be after the budget meets the other night. There are motions to recommend approving the committee on special ed recommendations for the meeting of May 20th.
Could we table that until that session, please? Thank you.
Okay, concerning the budget information, we're going to go through a little prepared presentation of what's happening, what's going on. Then we're going to have a period of actual, if anybody has anything that they want to say to address the board, and then the board will do a discussion on what our path forward is going to be, and you're also welcome to interact with us at that time too. Regarding a budget revote, if the voters in the district do not approve a budget, we presented once more for a revote. In order to do that, it must be at least 21 days before we can have another vote, because after we come up with a budget, it has to be made available to the public for 2 weeks before the vote. Again, there will be an opportunity for absentee ballots. People have to request an application 7 days before the vote if they want the absentee ballot mailed to them, or the day before the vote if they can pick it up and then actually choose to fill the ballot out at that time. And all ballots must be returned in the district's hands by 5 p.m. the day of the vote. Anybody who is not registered for the vote can register any time at personal registration at any of the school buildings, or the elementary school, the Rouse's Point Elementary School, or the school here on the main campus. Anytime that the schools are open, they can register. We'll have information available at all the schools starting next week. Anybody who is not registered and would like to register. We have 3 options when a budget doesn't pass. One is there can be a revote on the original spending plan, but the same budget back up for a revote. Secondly, there can be a revote on a revised budget spending plan. We can come up with a new budget to present with or without cuts or with or without additions. Either way, a different budget to go out altogether. Things that have already passed, like the library and the school board member, will not be brought up again for another opportunity, because those have passed with the original budget. So only concerns the buses and the overall budget itself. Or the third option is the board can elect to go directly to a contingency budget. Now, for a little bit more information on a contingency budget and what it means for Northeastern, I'm going to defer to the superintendent.
Okay, what I would like to do is I would like to show how the contingency budget is calculated. If you look at the 2003, if you look at the 2003-2004 adopted budget, which was $20,587,670. If you look at some of the areas there, which are the base year exclusions, and we have to subtract those out. So you have the $3,800, which comes from the tax cert. You have $500 from the judgment, and then you have $1,750,195, where you can also take out. Now, when we subtract that, we come out to $18,833,175. Now, the way you figure the percentage on a contingency budget is you look at your CPI, which in this case is 2.3%, and you multiply that times 120%, which in that case would give us a 2.76% increase that we could have on a contingency budget. You have a choice of taking that 2.76% or 4%, but you must take the one that is the lesser. So we would have to go to the 2.76%. Now, if you multiply that 2.76% times your $18,833,175, you're going to find that it's $519,795, and then you would add that and you come up to $19,352,971. Now, you have a right, you have to add back in those that you took out for those that would be reflected for the 2004-2005 school year. So you would add in your 3,800, your 5, your $1,746,000, your $160, and that would give you a budget of $21,103,431. Now, to determine what you need to cut in order to have a contingency budget, you take a look at your proposed budget, which we have before you, which is $22,812,849, and from that, you would subtract the $21,103,431, which means for us to come to the contingency level as a district at Northeastern Clinton, we need to cut $1,109,415. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to look at the items that we developed, that we looked at back in April 19th, that would have been contingency items. And this is what the board will do tonight with your input. They will examine each of these different contingency items to decide if they do want to select some of these to be cut or a combination, or as Mr. Ankoliak mentioned, put up the same budget. It will be their determination. If you look at the first one, you're looking at kindergarten with 5 teachers. We have an enrollment now of approximately 100 and some students in our kindergarten, which I think is a very positive indication for our district, because we're growing. So if you were to look at kindergarten, since it's not a mandated grade level, you could actually take that right out. We look at 3 teaching positions at the middle and senior high school. This would really kind of be a program cut in the sense that these instructors are really kind of important to providing a very quality type of education for this program. But this is something that we would probably have to look at. Because remember, even though we don't want to look at these areas, we must come up with that $1,109,418. The other thing you would look at is your entire athletics program, including transportation. You would look at closing the pool, and that would include 1 PE teacher. You'd look at your elementary guidance counselor. You'd look at elementary art, because elementary teachers, as part of their training, receive art instruction and also music instruction. So those are some of the areas that we can look at. You'd look at elementary PE. You'd look at increasing the assistant principal by 40%. You'd have to make some cuts in equipment. We just put in a middle school guidance counselor, 3/5 of the middle school guidance counselor this year. We would have to eliminate that. You'd look at 2/5 of a 6th grade teacher. We would have to reduce that, again, increasing our sizes. 1 new bus driver, the driver education. If you recall, for those who attended some of the meetings, we've had to look at reducing driver ed. We took away the summer program because we felt that having the second semester of driver ed was the most beneficial. But in this case, if we went to contingency, we would have to take that out. We have reduced our business administrator in the sense that we are contracting out, but we would still have to reduce that more. The Model United Nations, the entire program would have to go. The field trips, the outdoor education, the entire program. We have to take some more money out of teaching materials and supplies, music festival, and the transportation, conferences, and newsletters. Now, it's mandated that we come up with that figure. And it's not that we're looking at various things or pinpointing certain things. We're looking at all the things that we could possibly come up with to reduce that figure by the amount of money we have to for contingency. The other item that I want to mention, and we did tell you that we put forth what we thought was a very fiscally sound budget. As a matter of fact, we went through that budget line by line to take away anything that we felt we didn't need. And so you're probably wondering, then why is the budget increase at 7.9%. Well, there are certain things that are beyond our control, such as employee benefits. You have your health insurance, you have your teacher's retirement, you have your employee's retirement, and you have your contractual. If we were to be able to eliminate those, the budget would have only gone up 1.5%. We had no control over those. So that explains why it is at the 7.9% level. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is, what does a contingency budget do? Well, your buildings aren't new. So you would have to continue to defer maintenance to our school buildings. We know that there's a lot of things that need to be addressed in our buildings. The inability to maintain and grow programs to help meet the new standards. 10 years ago, a contingency budget was not as devastating as it can be today. We know that technology is growing day by day. We know that the learning standards are increasing. We know that our students need to learn more and more. So if we were to have a contingency budget and we are to then cut back on programs, it becomes a very, very devastating thing for our students. And the other thing that you need to know is, when you calculate your budget the following year, you cannot go back to the proposed budget of $22 million. You must go to the contingency budget and add your percentage to that. So now you're still a year or two behind, and it could take a long, long time to ever get back to the level that you're at. The other thing that you have to look at, there's a ban on purchasing equipment to include computer hardware. The only equipment that can be purchased when it comes to a contingency budget has to do with health and safety. Difficulty in paying for costs associated with known and yet to be determined requirements imposed under the new standards. One of the things that I did talk about when I met with Calvin was the unfunded mandates. These unfunded mandates will not go away. Part of, when I went over the budget and pointed out, one of the areas where the biggest increase took place was in the STAR-based program that we had to put in because of the attendance that is now required in every classroom in the middle school and the high school. Those mandates are there. The other thing that is going to be taking place is we have to have a mentoring program. That's another mandate under the No Child Left Behind. Those mandates are there, and we must comply. And they're really unfunded mandates, so that does not change them. And then the other, which I think is really kind of sad in a way, is that we have to restrict the community use of the buildings. Now what you have to do is you have to decide what is the best way that I can spend the limited amount of funds that I have in my budget. If you're talking about, I know there's a lot of community use of these buildings, which I think is wonderful, because I think it's what a school should be. However, now you're going to talk about, you have extra lighting, you have insurance, you have a lot of things that you have to look at. And that's one of the areas that you look at when you're talking about a contingency budget, is the limited use by the community of your school facilities. The other thing that you have to look at, that I would like to point out at this time, is the bus proposition. I know that the bus proposition went down, and we had reduced it from 5 buses to 3 buses. I talked to the transportation supervisor today, and I asked him, why do we really need those buses? Well, you have to have 5 spares. We have approximately 30 buses. You have to have 5 spares, because when DOT comes to do inspections, and they do it 2 to 3 times a month, we need to have those spares that we can use. Out of those buses that we were looking at, one of these uses a spare to be replaced. It has 113,014 miles. Another one that they're looking at, look for a spare, has 110,885 miles, and another one that they're using as a spare they're looking at replacing is 135,065 miles. And the question was asked to me by a concerned citizen that, what about all those buses that we have parked out front? Looks like we got a brand new fleet. Well, we have those buses here, and they are going to, all these vehicles are to be put up for bid. And I think that that has gone for the next board meeting. So those buses are not usable buses. We use the parts on them whenever we can, but they are buses to be put up for bid. So that's another area that the board's going to have to talk about, will be the bus bond issue. The next thing that I wanted to do is review the enrollment, because what we always try to do when we're looking at reducing a budget is look at our enrollment and see if we can maximize the students per classroom. If you look, okay, that's all right. If we look at it, we are almost to the level of where we can go. In the primary, we're looking at around 23 students per class. That's the maximum we can have. If we have more than that, contractually, we have to put an aide in the class with the teacher. When you get into the intermediates and middle school, you're looking at 25. And as our population is growing, there really is very, very little latitude as far as last year. I believe the board was very diligent in doing that, and they combined as many of the classes as they possibly could to maximize those numbers. There really is very little room as far as changing the numbers in the enrollment, looking at the enrollment projections. That's all I have to add.
Before we get into our discussion of which approach we're going to take, would anybody like to address the board? Have anything to say to the board? We're going to give an opportunity for anybody to address. Yes.
In case of the buses, is it correct to state that those buses do not meet the permanent transportation standards? We will not pass them.
As far as I know right now, you're talking to the transportation supervisor, about 4 or 5 of those buses probably will not meet the Department of Transportation standards. They will need some repairs. And we took that into consideration when we made the change from 5 buses down to 3, that we were going to probably put a new floor in 2 of the buses so that we could minimize the expense. But yes, and that's very important. They have to meet those standards to transport everybody.
Yes, Larry Field. I just would like to say that, way back, I believe it was early March, late February, when the process began. When we looked at the numbers, when the board looked at the numbers for the budget, whittled away at it, took a lot of time. You did a great job. You did a commendable job. Bringing this increase to 4.9%, 4.6%. And I believe we failed. I believe we failed too, because we didn't do a good enough job of encouraging or getting enough people out there to vote on what I believe is a very good budget. Unfortunately for the community, I live in this community. I also have children that have, one daughter that still goes to the school. So as a parent, as a taxpayer, and as an employee of the district, we have the same concerns about taxes as anyone else. But I can attest, I can tell you right now, this is 31 to 32 times more people that were here than Monday, the day before the budget. There's been very few people that have come to these meetings that you have opened up for public discussion. discussion. So the complacency out there may have cost the district this vote. And my recommendation is that you put up the same budget, because I don't know where you can cut any more. I mean, I believe you have to cut $100,000 to save 1%, if I'm not mistaken. And everything else is, you would have to cut a few of those other smaller programs to get your $100,000. But I think we need to do a better job of getting people out there to vote, encourage people to vote, and not be so complacent. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah.
My name's Dan, I'm in fourth grade in Morris Elementary. I'm just curious on kindergarten cuts. Are kindergarten students today, is there some, I guess, state aid that was reimbursed for the enrollment of those students? And if so, I was just wondering how much would that kind of offset the $250,000 savings?
Any aid we do get, we would not receive it the following year. So it would not be received this year. The aid for the kindergarten students that we would get is based on last year's kindergarten fund.
I guess I'm wondering if those 100+ students aren't in school, how much are we losing there? Shouldn't that kind of offset the $280,000?
But we wouldn't see that money in this calendar year, so it's not going to help us in the coming budget year. That money is realized in the following year.
Reverse next year?
Yes. Because kindergarten is not mandated by the state. The other, there is an option too, is to half day kindergarten. That involves busing, and we have to put more buses on the road to transport your courses today also, so that cost has to be.
I think Danny made a good point. If we were to cut kindergarten, which, is a big ticket item under a contingency situation, to bring it back after a year or 2 years, we'd be starting from zero in terms of having to raise that $250,000 to bring new staff in to instruct those kids. Where presently, as Mike said, we are getting aided the following year. So if we don't have it next year, the budget year after that, we would not be getting that 20, whatever the aid is. I don't know that it's 250,000, but it may be more than that for all. But that's the problem with making these kinds of substantial cuts to get back. We would need to increase a budget from 1 year to the next, which I would think would be impossible to pass, to get back. Not even to increase, but just to get back.
I think it would take them years to get that back, over a couple of years, right? Anybody else? Yes.
What would that do for first grade? What would be acceptable? First grade become kindergarten level?
They don't think it would become a kindergarten level until it's working and have to start first grade. It's almost like combining the two together, and it would be a lot expected of a first grader that would increase the expectation in order to get them properly prepared for the fourth grade or grade 10. You're usually spread out, something that's done in first grade now might have to do in second, move it so far in order to get everybody to do that they have to undergo the fourth grade. Does that answer your question?
Well, is there preschool available? Is there other, around the district that need to come in different school?
Speak up, they can't hear you.
Is there preschool available? Like in Rouse's Point, they have universal pre-K, is there anything like that available? And further out in the district in Morris or whatever? I'm just wondering what happens.
Nothing available in that regard. In universal pre-K, the money is year-to-year basis, so that's not even assured coming into the following year, how much money allocated to it. We get money from the state, which the school district, which we in turn almost like contracted out for someone else to provide.
And those are like 30 kids.
Yeah,
too.
not a lot of students. Okay, I'm nowhere near the number of 100 that was.
So the people in the district, I'm just wondering, like, kind of ridiculous to even consider cutting
budget, we see no way we can come up with $1.1 million. It's going to have to go back to budget fail. We can't spend time, depending on what's left in there, what's comes out now for a reload.
Just to expand on what you're saying, if you talk to people in the education field, they're basically saying that children should start being educated at age 3 to be able to meet the standards and to be able to meet what's going to be required in the 21st century, the type of learning that will be required. So it will be devastating to our children if we are forced to cut the kindergarten. Please, no one should misunderstand that. It will be devastating to our children if we are forced to cut our kindergarten.
I was just going to say that the children who will be eligible for K next year will not be eligible for Head Start next year. It's not an option for them, nor is the universal pre-K an option for them. They would have a year home with that, unless the parents are in the private school. Head Start will not accept private ones.
I just have to speak out to the community on the same topic as the school psychologist. A child's brain is developing, the majority of it has in some phase, and age 6 is the window of opportunity for therapy, and we'd be losing that window to help the child overcome underlying disabilities. That early age is critical.
Kind of add to what was been said. Kindergarten provides a very valuable service in our community. And Bob, I think I mentioned ending costs. We would be spending, I would assume, some additional costs to alleviate those skills that would be provided at the level. So, maybe not any later than that.
Yes, Ron?
Well, anyway, it appears that we're probably emerging on all the steps on you guys, in the state mandate. But, with all the new buildings that's going on in the area, and with the increased assessment, you still get a 7% increase in school.
I think
They have to come up with
the 4.6% increase in your tax.
taxes should be based on salary and not on profit. So what have we got to get the ball rolling on this? We've got the board, help us
Start
matter.
with your legislators. Start with your people in your state senator. They're the ones that control all that. That's in their hands of all things on how education is funded.
I think that would be a fair amount to taking on entire people that are on fixed income. Bill Swallow.
I just want to clarify one thing. It's not a 7.9% increase on your tax. The budget went up 7.9%. The taxes went up 4.6%. And I think that may have been one of the misnomers that was out there, that the taxes were going up 7.9. The information that we have to present on that card that you all got in the mail, no things allowed on that card to put what the tax rate increase is. You're only allowed to put what the budget increase is going to be. And we can't put up signs in the school either. We come to vote that day and say, your tax increase is only 4.6%, or it's only going to be 4.6. It's not 7.9. That's not that card. It's not allowed by education law to do that. So we can't do that. The only way we can do this is we had it in the paper a couple of times. It's in the paper. But the article in the paper on the day of the vote had 3 different percentages. So that was very confusing. You didn't know, most people didn't know what the percentage was. There was, I think, an 11 at 7.9 and a 4.6 were all listed
on-time budget this year. Yes, please laugh, because once again, we relied to, and believe me, we relied to our faces, this would be an on-time budget. And we're still fighting and still don't have an on-time budget. So the figures that we are using are based on something we can't rely on. We've used the most conservative figures we can, the governor's figures that he's put out there. But again, it's your legislators whose job it is to have a budget on time so that we can reliably go to you with figures, and they haven't done it once again. Last year we marched. Last year you saw the governor tried to cut education by over $1 billion. Once we marched, they said, well, maybe we shouldn't do that. We didn't do that this year because of Albany saying you will have an on-time budget. This will be something you can count on. When nothing happened, they did nothing. And we're still waiting for those figures. If we're lucky, we'll get more money. Oftentimes we have, but again, since September 11th, because of the devastation that happened to our state, we can't count on any extra money other than what the governor has said we can get. When we do get it, if we do get it, like we did last year, then we reduce the tax rate. But we're playing with figures that are coming out of the air that we really don't know, because they haven't done their jobs. And we really need to go back to Albany and say, where's that budget? And stop using our children as ransom and not paying for the education that they're mandating that we provide.
If you looked at the news last night, the big stumbling block over the state budget right now is more funds for education in New York City. So if they're going to give New York City more money, where do you think that money is going to come from? We don't even know if we're going to get what the governor promised us, because of the big stumbling block that is going through the city. And that would be even, everybody did their budget based on the most conservative governors this year. But this year was really a crap year. Just laying it out accordingly. Yeah.
Peggy Rivers. This is going to be very unpopular, but 4.5%. I didn't get a 4.5% raise this year. I don't know what you people got, and that's just a figure. I think what is being asked of you, and having worked with budgets at Wyatt for 35 years, many, many years, especially in the last few years, you would put out your wish list, and it was cut. And you put another wish list out, and it was cut. And some years, it was cut to nothing. You had to stay exactly the same you did the previous year. I think that's probably the biggest thought behind people's minds. Can there be one year that it stays the same? I know there are things that are beyond your control, but still raising it up 4.5% to people on fixed income, that is a lot of money. And talk about, the lady just mentioned it seems like Albany's threatening it. When we say kindergarten, that's a very touchy subject. You shouldn't cut kindergarten, but that's the first thing that appears on the agenda. And if I was thinking about educating my children, I would say I fight for these values. But, and this is where it's going to be very unpopular, you have a terrific sports program, and you really have a tough job. I wouldn't want your job. But it includes cross country, it includes track, it includes golf, it includes tennis, it includes... Why not try the basics for a little while? And I don't know the purpose of this booster call. I've never gotten involved in anything, but I think several years ago when you were on the contingency budget, or whatever, that's when the booster club came to reality. They brought back their sports programs. They raised money for their sports programs. Why not let the parents of the or tennis, or basketball, or baseball, or soccer. And it's kind of like we're a select few when you come right down to it. Sure, they can go out for it, but they're not going to get it if they're not good enough, if they're not athletic, they're not going to get that opportunity. And it's just some areas of thought. I think what is being asked to do is think about it. Don't come back with the same budget. At least look at it and give the people the idea that they did think about it, that looked into it, and just give it a try.
One thing you said about asking the parents to pay for it. Being a public school, we can't ask the parents to pay to have their child.
No, I don't say ask them, but if their children are ready to play it, if they want to, why not? They should be expected to support this.
If they do a booster program, you can't say your child can't play unless you give us $180, or the top you got to give us the equivalent of each child is $700 or $800. You can't ask that as being a public school. Everybody's entitled to a free education.
Does a free education include basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis, golf?
It's not absolutely necessary. And that's the school. We can
And
have
that's
other
why
programs. There are some other
I know
programs.
it's a very touchy subject, but it's also very expensive. There's all the travel you do with the buses for these games, and
You know, if I could just respond to that, I am not a board member that has not been the greatest, brought a lot of enthusiasm to our athletic program, and put it that way. The athletic program has been one of the first things that has been frozen for so many years, in budget hearings we've had. The reality as well is that we have a $20 million budget or a $19 million budget. Athletics is $150,000 or something like that. That's a very small part of our budget, but even in that context, this board has not allowed much of an increase for all the years that I've been on this board. So it's I don't want you to think that the board is being all that generous, or have the perception that the board is being all that generous to the athletic programs. Additionally, one of my great frustrations being a board member is that we have not had the ability to grow as I think we all would like to see this district grow in terms of, you look at some of the other school districts that are able to provide all kinds of electives for the children. We have what we like to think is a good core basic educational system. And we've done that in light of trying to keep those tax increases very nominal. We were not at zero last year, as you suggest, giving the taxpayers a year off. We'd very much like to do that. I think last year we were at 1%. That went up. So, believe me, I understand. I work with people that are on fixed incomes, and I know it's tough. And I don't want you to think we disregard your sentiment at all. I think that's important. But I've been on this board for 7 or 8 or 9 years now, and this board, this district does not throw money away or throw it around. To my at times frustration in terms of building new programs for our kids. Thank you.
And it's trying to address one other item that you referred to earlier, when you talked about the fixed costs that we have no control over. For example, the health insurance this year. The health insurance for the district employees went up 12%. 12% over last year. And I don't know, Sheila, what was the number last year? The health insurance? What was it? That one. Just to give you an idea of how this does affect the overall. But we have no control over the health insurance. But they said it's going up with the consortium. We have to live with it. It's going up from $2.67 million to $3.14 million. About a $500,000 increase in health insurance premium. That alone is about 5% on the taxes right there. The employee retirement system, the contribution that we have to make, that's set by the state, is going percent of the salary base for CSEA employees and secretarial employees to 12.5%, going up to 7.5%, going from $240,000 up to almost $300,000. The teacher retirement system, which includes teachers and administrators, that's going from 0.36% of the salary base to 6%, going from $120,000 to $530,000, going up $400,000 that we have put into the retirement system. We have no say in those costs. Those three areas alone are about $950,000 that's going up, which is almost the value of a contingency budget that we have to go that way. If you combine that with the contractual expenses, which is the mandated salary increases that students are going to be receiving, if it wasn't for those two areas that are already contractual, we have no say over, your tax rate would have gone down about 10%. We don't have an exact number, but in the ballpark of 10%. Those are some things that we have absolutely no control over in that area. So I think we try to be fiscally responsible. These uncontrollable costs, we don't know where we're going to get the money to make up for them. It has to come from somewhere. And that's the only place we can come. I just wanted to clarify what those numbers actually meant and what they mean in that regard.
Mike, you have no control over those expenses as a result of the contract.
Just the one part, yes. The health insurance, the retirement system, we have no control over.
I probably won't be real popular after this either. Going down the budget, but I have two children that are in the school district as well, and my wife works within the school district. To be quite honest, I didn't know about the budget until the day of, as far as the vote goes. Shame on me, I didn't vote. I was involved. But for 16 votes, is what I understand, it got turned down. I don't understand why you would bat your heads against the wall trying to figure out how to come up with a lesser budget when everybody that I talked to that did not vote would have voted for it. It's a shame that they didn't vote. I think we should just wait for 21 days out and put it back up to vote. What you're going to be cutting is you're taking everything away from the kids. Yes, there are going to be some employees that are going to be lost jobs as well, unfortunately. But for 16 votes, I think you guys are going to be batting your head against the wall, wasting your time, when I gotta believe there's an awful lot of people out there, had they been more prepared, or better prepared, and realized the vote was that day, we wouldn't even be sitting here having this argument or consultation. A 4.6 increase in the budget when it regards our children. Why are we meeting? Let's just go back to the voting booth. Get those people that didn't know that the vote was out there and get them here. The cuts that you're asking to cut.
But no, we're not asking to cut. We're listening to three options. We're trying to decide which option we're going to go with, and we want your input into everybody's input that's here. I wish everybody would speak and tell us how they feel. That's important to us to know how the community itself feels.
Unfortunately, we control those major increases that have come across our school district as well as everybody else's school district. I know I'd love to be able to get my wife a health insurance program within the school district because I know I would save a ton of money. But we can't, that's nothing that we can do. But we know that we can't put that goal back out there to get this budget passed. So we don't have to take out away the athletic programs, the kindergarten, the new buses. I wouldn't want my kids riding on old buses. I'll give you a heck of a deal on that inexpensive van if you really want to get it. Maybe we can work on that one. But I think this is, personally, I think this just needs to be put back out there to vote on.
Because our decision has to be, we don't want to have another budget. If there is another disease, we have no choice but to go contingency and everything will go. So we want to make sure what we present
think that if you put it out again, we're going to, it'll pass because I know there's like 70 seniors that are 18. And next week we're trying to set up like a registration thing where we can get them all registered so they can vote. So I think that will help out a lot. There's a couple of us, Mr. Bendel, and a couple of our government teachers that want to get all the seniors that are 18 eligible to vote. And also, I know there's a lot of important stuff to talk about, but UN is, I mean, I was in charge of it along with Sammy Bocek and myself were in charge of it this year. And there was an idea that we should cover up the trophy case, and everyone said NCCS, and Sammy and I both said no, because people walk in, there were 600 people in this auditorium on March 4th, and both of us said no, because when people walk in, we want them to know that the North Country Monument is at NCCS. There was probably 4 articles in the paper this year on UN, and every one of them said something about these kids are from NCCS. Now, this is great publicity for the school. The fact that there's 600 kids that come up here that just talk about international issues and stuff like that, I think it's amazing. Plus, there's a couple of classes here at school. I know it's still the same as a 9th grade UN class and 10th grade UN class, but they come here to our conference. I think that it's great that that's a bit of an elective, and there's not a whole lot that we offer here, but that's kind of a bit of a twist that they have that is offered to the students. And I think that UN, you know, they say you don't know what you lost until it's gone, and I think that this would be a huge travesty to the school if UN was gone next year. And I heard something like Beacontown wants to take it. So all those kids go to Beacontown and say, hey, look, North Country Monument is at Beacontown. It's going to have a reverse effect, and no one's going to even think that NCCS is on the map when we are. So I think that this program, we need to make sure that this program stays at NCCS because it started at NCCS and it will stay at NCCS. And I think that it's worth the money, just the publicity that everyone gets for that. And then this year, we had more kids than we've ever had. It's growing, it's getting bigger, and it's not very expensive for other schools to come up here. It's not very expensive for us as a school today. I'm sure that if you cut us a little bit, we could probably cut the slack and maybe raise a little more money. I'm a senior. I'm not going to be around next year, but I'd be very sad to know that Mr. McManus will be here next year doing North Country Monument. And I think that we have to make an effort to try and keep him around. He's been doing it for 35 years. The first year he went to Harvard, he drove a station wagon himself to go to Boston to take 7 kids to Harvard. I know Mrs. Gagnon was probably one of the first kids there. Not making a reference to how old you are. So, I'm sorry, I apologize for that. Well, I just think that it would be a great loss to the school if that program was to be done.
I echo your sentiment. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Well, I've never been able to control Adam. And this is another excuse my appearance. My children are having a good time with my tie. I'm kind of keep busy. Before the budget fell, this program was in serious jeopardy. And I'm not sure that the board is aware of that. And we're at a point now, 2 or 3 weeks from today, this program will be heading down Route 9, Route 87 to Beacontown. That's how close we are to losing UN. And that is, again, before the budget goes. I came up here wondering, is this the time? And well, especially like kindergarten. You know, we're a real small piece of the picture. And I didn't think tonight was the night to play with you. And I was going to hope that we can maybe sit down publicly and talk and rehash. I have some solutions that I proposed. I'm not sure that those solutions have been aired adequately enough. But we are at a critical time for UN. Now, if the decision, because of the budget, has been made to not keep the program, well, that's a decision that we'll have to live with. But again, as I said, before the budget problem appeared, this program was in serious jeopardy. And I think we need people that want to save this program. There's still that belief out there that we need to sit down and talk about it, as I've been promised. So thank you for that. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank you for the budget you did put up for
everyone afterwards, they were appalled that obviously the budget didn't pass. And also many people, and I think everybody in here tonight can probably name 5 people right off the top of their head that they know that didn't vote and would make a difference if you put this budget up the same way. I can't see how you can cut all of this. I realize it's important to have to come up with a budget that we can live with. And I don't have a large income, and an increase is a detrimental thing to anybody's bottom line at home. But we have to take care of our children. And looking in the future, all these extras that get cut, when our children go off to college, it's going to be detrimental to the colleges they get into. UN, athletics, kindergarten, all of them make a well-rounded student. And once we start to lose one piece and another piece, as you've all said, once it's cut, we'll be lucky if we ever see it come back here again. So I ask you to seriously think about putting that budget up again, the same way that it was up before. And I will do personally, call everybody I can to make sure that they come out when we get this budget passed.
Jim and I are building this. I think you as a board really need to take a look around and see actually the people that are here tonight. I'm not sure where you shop or where you go, but all that I hear out there in the community is people cannot afford to live in their houses anymore. Nobody's saying that you need to cut all the budget and cut all the programs and stuff out of there. But just stop and think myself as if you just put up a contingency budget up there. I think you need to explain a little bit better than what you have, because and I'm not picking on anybody. Let's just take a couple, 3 items that were up there on contingency. You had one bus driver that was up there that you were looking to put in for $21,000. Now, if that's something that you can do away with in your contingency budget, then why are we, you need to explain, is this something that is needed, or is this something that's just a luxury? When these people are sitting at home and looking at the contingency budget and see this in there, they're looking at it and say, here's $21,000 that they're doing away with now, but they want to put it in their budget. If they have to go contingency, they can do away with it. And also a couple other things that went there. You've got a couple of teachers that are in there that you said that you would have to get rid of if we went to a contingency budget. I think you need to explain if we got rid of those teachers or what they're doing, what these teachers are doing now and how it's actually going to benefit, the children that are here in the school. People are going to look at that and they're going to say, if these are 2 teachers that they can do away with, that if they have to go to contingency budget, then why do we have them now? And if we can look to lower our rate, $100,000, and I'm just saying that's what the word is out there on the street. They're asking you to do the best that you can do with what you have. Not particularly cut all the programs, but we need to try to put the reevaluation and everything that's going down. Everybody is just getting hit so hard that it is, and it's year after year. And everybody is just, they're coming to a point that they're wondering if they're going to be able to live in their houses anymore. And I think another thing that you will need to look at is, you didn't lose your vote by 16 votes. You need to look at that you lost your vote by over 50% of the people that voted. So that really says, I think, a lot. And I think if you look around, people are just frustrated, and that's their answer to you. They're not going to come here and sit and argue. I think their answer is when they go on the voting machine and vote, that's where they're saying enough is enough. And we need to try to lower, when you get our budget as low as we can, even if it means another 1 or 2%, down. I mean, you can put the budget back up again and go the same as but at least, if you try, at least they know that, you're trying to do the best that you can with what you have. I'm just giving you a little bit of opinion of what I've heard out there in the last 2 or 3 days. And I'm not picking on anybody.
Mr. Menard said it much better than I, and I apologize for if I annoyed you. And too bad that young man just left, because we can attest to the UN being, a good program. As a parent of a child who's over in Israel right now, her job. So they do have good programs.
I just had a question about the tax rate.
Speak up, that's all, sorry.
I had a question about the tax rate. I did notice in the paper, it looks like Plattsburgh has like a tax rate of $20 per thousand, and ours is higher than that. Is it because our district is so rural? And I did grow up here, I'm not from around here. I'm just wondering why, is it that there's a higher poverty level and they're in the city? I just don't really understand.
Well, one thing that is involved in presenting a budget is the amount of fund balance that you put forward. We put 350,000, as I explained, really went from 240,000 to 300,000, and then we put a one-time $50,000 supplement in there from our tax service. We thought we could justify that. Plattsburgh, it's over. Plattsburgh puts $2.1 million towards their fund balance.
So is it because they have a higher enrollment?
Well, it's not necessarily because they have higher enrollment, they probably have a lot more revenues than what we have. They have a higher tax base, or higher assessments, so I guess, you know, you can only use the amount of money that you have on hand. And back to Jim's question, as far as the bus driver, Jim, the reason you probably could reduce a bus driver is once you go to contingency, then as far as transportation goes, I think it's almost like a 1 or 2 mile limit where if it's safe, you can have children walk.
But you see that was
And
done
then, and the other thing also, Jim, is that we're looking at, the reason we have to increase another bus driver, we'll have to look at it as a new regulation again of no standees on the buses, which was not there before. And we did,
Right, what I'm saying is you're putting that stuff up on the board, but you're not, now that you just said that,
And we're
that's
starting-
fine, but you're not explaining it to the public of what's going on. We need to hire another bus driver because there's no standing.
and also, Jim, because our increase in kindergarten too, so we're gonna have more students. And one thing that I found out this year is that there are many, many parents that drive their children to school. And it's a possibility that all of a sudden, some of these students too will start to ride the buses as we start getting better timelines. So you're absolutely right, but there's only so much that you can do in an article, and that's why we've had these meetings. And every single contingency item that we put up there at our meetings, when we talked about them, we talked about them in detail. You mentioned the teachers. There is one thing that we did look at, and the reason we say we have the 3 teaching positions, we felt we needed to increase our science. We could probably go with higher numbers. If you look at the numbers that we're looking at right now, in the middle school and the high school, you're running between 25 and 27. We wouldn't want to go any higher than that. But the other thing is, when you're looking at that one teacher in the science area, that's one thing we wanted to do, is be able to put our lab back to back so our kids would have a better science experience. We've been wanting to do that for a long time, so that was the one thing that we did leave in there that might be a new thing that would improve program. And if it comes down to the bottom line, well, we'll take a step back, and we'll have to take it out. So those are the, and you're absolutely right. I wish that I could, give an analysis of every single item that we have there. But that's what we're doing now, in a sense, when we're looking at each of these items, we're looking at, okay, what is the benefit to the district?
Right, but I think that's where the people are getting, they're gonna sit there and they're gonna watch Calvin's shit on TV, and they're gonna look and they're gonna say, well, this contingency budget that out there, if that's something that they can get along without, then why can't we take it out of the budget? And particularly, I'm not saying that like the kindergartens or whatever, but let's just say if they can do without a bus driver or, but I think it needs to be explained why it's there.
Right, and I think that's what we're trying to do tonight. Yes. And one other thing with the science, we aren't meeting our lab mandates. And we would like to get in compliance if possible. But if we have to, again, there are some schools that there's a lot of mandates that they don't meet. But we try. We always try to meet those mandates. And whenever we can put a little bit in to try to achieve that, we'll try to do that. But if it comes down, we have no other place to go, then we'll have to go that, and we'll just have to, again, be not meeting the mandates.
The biggest problem I see here is that our population is getting older, and we're living longer. And my Social Security don't go up by pennies, and then they take it away from me from my insurance. This school district has got the highest tax rate in the whole county, probably the whole Northeast. And I understand your mandates, because I've been there for 6 years. For 6 years, I've been mayor of Ross's Point. This year's the first year we've raised taxes because of mandates. You're talking about the retirement, from $9,000 retirement last year to $120,000 this year for the village. Right? Health insurance, the same thing. Our budget this year in the village of Ross's Point had 2 excess items. Snowplow that we have to replace because the other one's reaching about 18 years old, and defibrillator for the ambulance. Nothing else, bare bones, except wages. I don't know where it's going to go. STAR program, that's getting to be a joke. Every year they raise my assessment. I don't make anything out of STAR program. The assessment goes up, tax rate goes up. It's supposed to work the other way. The tax rate's supposed to go down when your assessment goes up. We're looking at the same thing in the village. Not only the village, the county, Medicare. Where's it stop? You say legislators. I have said, gone down to Albany, and I have listened to the BS from Sobers, from Bruno, about whose fault it is because the budget hasn't passed for the last 6 years. It's a joke, and we all know it. But I have said right there, it's time to get on our horse and say, that's a mandate, either you pay for it or we ain't doing it. Send us to jail. I don't care. If they send the whole school board, they send the whole village board, they send the whole town board. Somebody needs to be sent a message in Albany. And it's time, because it's not getting any better.
But unfortunately, the only budget, the only tax increase you get to vote on is ours. And that means the people who suffer are our children who can't vote and who have no voice. You have to try to do what's best for them. Believe me, we all have gotten the higher assessments, we all know. And you do feel what you're feeling. I just wanted to make 2 comments, if you don't mind. Number 1, believe me, there's a huge wish list, and I think the administrators and the teachers who are present here, as well as our CSEA people, we have a huge wish list every year. There are things we would love to be able to do for our students that we simply can't afford. And it just gets struck down before we ever go into a budget. In fact, we started out this year with things we really thought the children needed for a better education. It's getting tougher for them. We need smaller class sizes, but we can't afford to pay for the teachers, and we can't afford to pay the cost of a lot of things. So that wish list, you never saw that wish list. You never saw what we'd love to be able to do, because we know our taxpayers. We're part of the community. We know we can't afford it. And an issue about Plattsburgh is their transportation cost is a lot less than ours is. And that's because they're in a more concentrated area. So we understand our tax rate is high, but again, there are circumstances we have no control over where children live and what it costs to bring them to the school.
Mike?
Anyone else? Yes, Calvin?
I want to make sure, did you say you were in favor of the school board going to jail? Is that what George said?
I didn't say that. But I couldn't agree with George on those statements.
Except for that part, you were in favor? Okay.
know.
I do have some questions, though. You said there were three figures in the paper, and I don't have any of those figures in front of me here, but there are basically three figures. There's the amount that the school budget is going up, there's the amount this school tax rate, amount to be raised by taxes is going up, and there's the amount you're going to pay for your assessment. Usually the amount we're going to pay based on our assessment is really a false figure, because for most of us, our assessment went up. So if you say your tax rate's only going up 4%, 4 point whatever, well, that's not true if you're if you didn't drive in one nail and your assessment went up $10,000, well, you already went up $240 right there. So the amount raised by taxes is the figure that you should be using, if you're going to be honest with the public. You know, there's going to be a little figure in there where you got new buildings, but that's a very small part. For the most part, the average person out there did not drive in a nail and saw their assessment increase. So that's the amount their taxes are going up.
So they're going up 4.6%
On the assessment.
per $1,000.
Right, but the amount raised by taxes is going up how much?
The total amount raised by taxes?
What's the percentage on that?
Tax levy is 41.43%. For our best knowledge.
What is the tax rate on the amount raised by taxes?
That's in the article.
How much, do you have a percentage on that? I mean, that's basically the amount that people's taxes are going to go up if you average it out.
And it would depend on how much your assessment went up, how much your
Right,
taxes went
yeah,
up.
it's not going to be balanced, but you're going to average it out. And that's the amount the person's tax is going to go up. Except, like George mentioned, if you throw in that STAR program, and let's say a few years ago you had a $50,000 assessment, so you're only paying taxes on $20,000. Now you have a $60,000 assessment, you're paying taxes on $30,000. So the amount you're actually paying out of your pocket has gone up 50% right there, because instead of paying on 20, you're paying on 30.
The tax levy went up 11%.
Okay,
That's the 11%.
so that's the amount people are looking at, and when you throw out a 4 point whatever, it doesn't convince too many people, and what it does is you do get that backlash, people saying they're lying to us, they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. They know that their taxes are going up by more than 4 point whatever percent. So I think the best way to present this is to be upfront and honest and not try to make believe that it's only going up 4.7, because if there's anybody out there who is only going up 4.7, they're few and far between. Because that means your taxes, your assessment did not go up. And very few people's assessments did not go up.
Everybody's assessment went up.
Right. So right away, you've got more than that 4.7.
Per 1,000.
Right.
We can't say what everybody's going to go up. Some
Right,
people may go
but-
up 6%.
Right, but on the balance, unfortunately, when you get your figures from whoever, the state or the county assessment, they don't tell you how much of this is actual new construction.
No, they don't.
So you can't come up with an actual figure.
And everybody uses that number, that based on a per $1,000.
Yeah, I know that, but when they're paying, right now, that check, they look at last year I paid 200, this year I'm paying 300.
That's right, it's different.
You know, so,
Just to, first of all, you're right, Calvin. I wouldn't tie honesty to your
Well,
assessment of that. The other part is, if it is an 11%, that also, as you said, includes new property, new buildings, of which we don't know.
Right.
I don't know that we know which part of that 11%. The figure that we can be relatively sure, based on if we get the state aid the government wants to give us, is that 4.6. But that's really the only thing we can be sure of on 1,000. Now, we don't know how many thousand more your
Right,
house
but-
is going to be
but-
worth, or his house is going to be worth. But we do know it's a 4.6% increase on the per thousand. So that's really the only thing we can be sure of, presuming Pataki's aid is what
well, the other thing you can be sure of, well, you can't be sure of that either, because you don't know what the aid's going to be and so on.
Yes.
So you're not sure of anything. But you're also sure of the amount to be raised by taxes is going up X number of percent, just like you're sure of
That's
tax
correct.
rate per thousand. So you're sure of both figures,
That's correct.
as sure as you can be.
But please understand too, the card that we sent out in the mail, those numbers that we present are exactly what the state said, this is how we report this. These are the figures.
I know that, but
And I know that this is, I mean, you're a bright man, and
Thank you.
I think this community we've got bright people. We didn't have the exact amount of the assessment, again, we had a projection in those figures. We are not presented with the exact assessment prior to having to go to print.
Right, I know that, but what I'm saying is, the people, you know, Jim and Ard mentioned that the feedback you're getting, and the people know that the 4 point whatever is not accurate.
But we also.
But, so if you're telling them that's the figure, then right away, they're looking at you and saying, you're lying to me. That's a perception. Perception is everything.
On the tax rate.
Yeah, I know that, I know that, I know that.
We're
Well,
not lying to anybody.
well, perception is everything. No, I didn't say you were lying. I'm saying the perception out there is that you are when you're using that figure, because the amount to be raised by taxes is going up 11%, and that's what people are interested in. So, if, you know, it's nice to sit here and say this is the figure, but, and you look around here, most of the people here today are employees of the school in some way. So the public isn't here. So the only way you're going to know the public is when you go to that convenience store, go to the church, whatever, you listen to what the feedback is. And this is what I'm hearing out there, is that people are saying this. So anyway, that's my point in there. I think, you know, just, you know, we can argue that back and forth. I got a question on tuition. Is there any state aid on tuition, like from Vermonters or whatever? Does state aid also apply to them?
Basically, we charge tuition.
That's
That's what we get.
now if we cut back on a lot of these programs. Do you have a figure on how much we actually get from out of state? Because if we lost those people by cutting back, it would affect.
It'd be around 490,000.
If we lost them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much we get per student?
6150.
6150. So if we cut sports, we lose 20 students. You're talking 20 times 6100, and so that's also going to affect the amount we have to pay to make up the difference. So there's hidden figures in here too that you don't know until you come up with that budget that you. Right. And my final point is, I mentioned it the last year, and I think it's something that somebody ought to seriously look at. Is I know Plattsburgh State has a foundation that does so much to offset their budget and so on. And every year I come here and I hear how wonderful the education is that for our students, and now they've moved away and they're very successful, and they're no longer paying the taxes that. So maybe these kids got this wonderful education, they're adults now, they're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. Maybe they care enough about their alma mater to pay to a foundation, to help the taxpayers here. Say, hey, I got this great education because of Northeastern. I'm going to make an annual contribution of $1,000. And that foundation could be used to, pay parts of that budget that you might not be able to pay otherwise. So I think it ought to seriously be looked at. These kids got the education, and now they've said sayonara. And, so I think that's something we seriously ought to look at. I'm done.
It's my experience that in the past we've been closely compared to NEC, and it came up with what our tax rate is, $24 for 100,000, for 1,000. Why is it that we're over $10 more than what they pay, what they're projected to pay at NEC? It's $14 per 1,000. If you give some insight of what more we're getting in our school district than what they're offering at NEC.
For one, is the state aid ratio. They have a much higher state aid ratio than we have.
They get 66% of their money from state aid.
How do you calculate that?
State, 66% of their budget is from state, ours is 51%.
It's based upon the poverty level we're looking at, so therefore the more state aid you get, the less tax they would have to come up with. That's one of the big factors. And one of the things that I did when I looked at this, I looked back at 1993, 94, when you were receiving just the operating aid. Since 1993 to now, to 2003, you have actually gone down 2.8% in your operating aid, while your levy has gone up 98.4%. So what happens, unfortunately, is when your tax levy, you contribute more, they decrease your state aid. So the lower your state aid is, the more contribution you have to make. So that's one of the reasons why some of these other districts who have a higher state aid ratio have both.
The Morris Parents Group. I can represent a lot of the parents at Morris, and I'm not an employee of Northeastern, volunteer. Just to let you know that a lot of parents did think this budget was going to pass and did not vote and said they were satisfied with it. But one thing that, I mean, my husband's a dairy farmer. I can't count on the price of milk. But one thing I can count on is my kids will get an excellent education here. And you guys are doing a very good job of what you're doing. And that's all I want, is the same opportunities I had going to school here for my children. And if it means that I do have to pay 4.6 more percent, then I will. And I understand there are people that aren't. But everybody's going through a very difficult time. But as long as these kids are getting the best education that you can give them, then I support you 100%. And I can tell you, hundreds of parents at Morris feel the same way. So just on behalf of them and myself, that's how they feel.
Anybody else? Yes.
Is there any other way to increase the revenue, like if the pool actually doesn't get charged for using the pool?
I think we raised the price of the pool last year. But that's right, that the minimum we raised that up, it's not that you're talking and raising it up $1 per person. We probably have 20 people that need it, 30 people.
How about for swim lessons, that sort of thing? Would that help at all? Parents pay for that?
That's part of the kid ed program. Sort of that's their part of their physical education program. We can't charge them for some lessons that take place during the school. Yeah, all right, Julie, on that?
Yeah, in the summer.
Youth mission. Like in the summer, you're talking during the summertime?
Yes.
That's again, that's kind of the community use the building. We donate the building for that purpose for that, because we really want to get something back to the community and let them use the building, but they are, after all, paying taxes on it. Some people don't get to partake in the building. That's the way they can partake and see something for their tax dollars.
I just want to make a comment too. I've been, I don't work in the school district, I'm just a parent. And I've seen a school in San Diego where they've stripped down in that district to the bare bones. They have no music, they have no art, they have no PE. There are maybe sports teams in the high school, but you don't see anything at the elementary school level. And it's sad, and they have, no revenue, people who are there. And that's the way things are. And we chose to come back to the work market and it's just very discouraging to think that people aren't willing to pay so that our kids can have this. And I don't see that sports should be cut, and any of this should be cut anymore. I don't think it's fair to put the burden of our taxes on kids. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's their problem or your problem. I pay a lot of taxes too, and I'm a stay-home mom, and it's very discouraging that people aren't willing to pay for it.
I want to just state the obvious. Is there any way to communicate that really what people are voting on is that $1.1 million? Nobody's voting on that $20 million. All they're voting on is the unmandated amount. And I don't know, because there were certain ways that you guys communicate to people. The percentage, Calvin confuses all about what the percentage is. But really, what we're voting on is that 1.1 million. Everything else is there and it's got to be there. So accept it and get away from it. And, I've had 2 kids come to this school system and have done wonderful jobs. And I've got a 3rd one coming up. But I think we should just accept the raise, pay the money, put the kids through school.
approaches they think we should go through, or should we look at everything? Should we go to a contingency budget right away? Should we elect to go with the same budget, or should we go through the items and look at if we can make any, discuss the possibility of making any revisions to the budget? How do people feel? Sylvia, you want to start at that end and we'll work down?
Okay. Okay, in my opinion, there's not a lot of things on this blue sheet that I would be willing to cut that would make a difference. Steve tells me it's like $100,000 to reduce it by 1%, correct?
Approximately, yes.
Yes? I can't find $100, yeah, $100. If it was $100, I'd give it to you, but I can't find $100,000 on this proposed contingency items that I would be willing to cut. So I would rather go with what we've got. That would be my first choice.
Well, I'll say this, I am very afraid of going to a contingency budget. I think that would devastate our program. I feel a bit optimistic with some of the comments in terms of the golf. Where did you shoot, by the way?
I don't know if I was shooting that bad, I would have done.
I think, in good faith, I think we put together a good budget. I've been doing this, again, for years, and there's notwithstanding what Jim, wherever Jim has said, and maybe we need to explain things better, but there's no factor. There's not, there's no, this is not a Rolls Royce. We've got a good basic education, and that's the only thing we're funding. It's, I'm not so much agreeing to that, but it's what we can afford. So I guess I would suggest that we resubmit it. As is.
I agree.
Same budget? Aaron?
People need to know that even on the contingent items that we cut parts of them, the outdoor ed, we cut part of that. That's not fully funded. We cut model UN, a lot of that. That's not fully funded. We cut driver ed. That's not funded to the level of last year. We took out of the business administrator, we took 10,000 out of there. We cut and cut and cut to get down to this budget. And I'm definitely afraid of a contingent budget because the school would suffer so much. But this is a good budget.
Your recommendation, Daniel?
I'd like to put it back up the way it is.
I want to thank everybody for coming, and I want to thank everybody who commented. And I know we are all having struggles with what we're paying for a lot of things right now. But I believe in my fellow board members, and if you had been here and if you had labored with us through this whole process, which started back in December, and if you had listened to our teachers and our administrators and some of the people who talked to us during those talks and negotiations, I really believe in this budget. I think we did the best we could to keep within what our taxpayers can take as a burden and what we owe to our children for their education. And I believe in this community. This is my community. And I believe in the voters. And I think maybe we were too complacent, but I really think we owe it to our children to put this budget up the way we have we have formulated it. And I just thank you all for being here, and I really will thank you if you do put this to your friends and let them know that you need their support for the next vote. Because if it does go down, then we fail. So please, I would like to rescind this budget.
I agree with my colleagues. And I also want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and supporting what all of us have done. Mr. Peter, Sheila, and everybody. The countless hours that's been put into this. And all we got to do now is just, like you said, make people known of it. And let's just vote it in. I agree.
I just want to say one thing is when we started off this process back in January, we were looking at a tax increase per thousand of approximately 10%. By March, we had that number down to 6.7, and then by the May, we had it down to 4.6. Then we came through it. I think we did our best to address what we thought were all the groups and everybody's concerns throughout the district, and we put this budget up. I still would myself, and I probably disagree with the board members here, but I'm going to be outnumbered 6-1 here a little bit. I would like to maybe go through the list of proposed items, see if there is anything we can do any place. But I'm going to go through them. They said that all six of them want to put the same budget back up again, and I have no problem doing that. I think we did do a good budget. I'd like to go through the list, but they don't think they don't have to go through the list. I'm going to defer to that group there. That we put the same budget back up again, so that's what we will do, the same budget will go back up again.
Michael, is there any way to ensure that the people will know that what will happen if this budget
Well,
fails?
we'll make sure we contact the special public, and we'll try to get our paper before we have to vote. And it'll be at least 21 days by those dates will be set inside the line. I particularly want to thank everybody for coming. I know it was a tough night, Friday night, right at dinner time, but that's because after Tuesday's meeting was after most of the board members could be here. Some have, other things on the weekend, there were other things. The only night that everybody was free, and we decided to do it as soon as possible afterwards. Everybody could come right before to do that. So again, I think I want to thank you very much for your input tonight. We do appreciate the input. I think that may have help some of the people make the decision they did make tonight based on the input that they did receive. And thank you again. Is there a motion then to go into executive session to discuss the one item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you again.